You have everything. That child is no longer yours. That child, has gone to to form her own life, to start her own ministry, to be who God wants her to be. She is no longer, you no longer make those decisions. She's gone. Her decisions are going to be between her and her husband. It's not about you anymore, even though you're still mommy. So I understood the gravity of leaving. And then, so I also cried. It was emotional for me. So so now you are with this new family where they embrace you. Come on, nothing can be better than that. You know, you you left your home, but you have stepped into another home. You know, the sisters there are your sisters. The brothers are your brothers. So that means, well, as Christians, I don't know about other faith, but as Christians, we believe we have come, to start our own ministry, the ministry called life, and the
Mm-hmm.
destiny that everybody is talking about. Your destiny is in that home. You have come to replicate the kingdom of God, you know, in that place. The Bible says that a wise woman builds her home. A wise woman that is able to build her home and makes it a haven, where people can come to, where peace reigns, where love reigns, where everything just works together. That is the kingdom of God. So if you are in an environment, whereby your in-laws are happy with you, everything is going on well. Mommy is mommy to everybody. Mommy is not discriminating between you and her daughters. Daddy also, you can hug your in-laws. You can just they treat you exactly the way they treat their own children. There's a lot of benefit in that. These days that we
Absolutely.
even talk about mental health, mentally, everybody, you can achieve so much because these are people that will let you be.
Mm-hmm.
They are not impediments in your way. You can attain your own potentials. You can talk freely, you can act freely, you're happy. Nothing can be better than that. Nobody's gonna live forever. They are
Yeah.
grandparents today. You are gonna be a grandparent again someday. So so you are in a stress-free environment, okay, where you can explore your world and do so much. And let me tell you, another benefit is with the children. With your children are happy. There is nothing like, oh, don't go to that, don't go to that auntie, or don't go to mama's place, or don't go. No, there's nothing like that. So, that is impacting on the next generation. There's a lot of
Yeah.
benefit. There's a level of mentorship, like, Dr. Marino and I were talking about it yesterday. And she actually mentioned this mentorship. You know, mentorship, that comes, your in-laws are there. They want to help you. They want to support you. They want to see you guys, succeed in an ideal situation. Okay. Not where people have other interests, selfish interests that whether it augurs well for the couple or not, they don't care. That is not ideal. So we're talking about ideal situation here. So those are some of the benefits, that you get,
Okay.
yeah, from building good
All
relationships
right.
with your in-laws.
All right. Thank
Let
you
me
for that. Those.
thank you. Before
Uh,
before before you go on, Dr. Marino, I remember
mhm.
in those days, one of my brothers-in-law, Wilfred. Well, I just had this philosophy. Look, my in-laws, nobody will come to my house without me just treating them. I loved to cook, so that was not an issue for me. I would always present something and it must be special. So one day he said, Rem, how do you do these things? Yeah, how do you, is it that you always have this stuff in your refrigerator, or how do you even do it? Because there's no day we step here that you don't come up with all these special dishes. And for me, that was just my way of telling them that, look, I like you, I love you, I appreciate you. you are my brother or you are my sister. Okay? So let's go on. Thank you.
Okay, so because you've talked about a lot of things that we need to I just want to make sure that people, we don't lose it
Yeah,
in the
yeah.
in the
This
narrative
point.
of it, you
Right.
know. So we're talking about, one of the some of the benefits of having this in-law relationship is just an offshoot of good relationships anyway, and
Yeah,
offshoots of good relationships. You talked about, I always say it's in the context of relationship that we heal. It's the context of relationships that we grow. We learn all the things that we're supposed to do, but also in the context of relationships that we get wounded. Just because you got wounded in one relationship doesn't mean that you can get healed in a healthy relationship. But one thing that you
absolutely.
said that really struck me is when we talk about the grandchildren. Like,
Right.
one of the benefits is that they have, so instead of your immediate nucleus family being the all and be all, you know, of the growth of your children, what happens when you have good relationships outside of that is that you can expand the sphere of your children's domain. You can
That's right.
expand it, and that's really good, because the more we can expand things, the more room we have to grow. So this
Yeah.
is one of the benefits that it. Now, you really showed us, and what you have talked about today is, so far, it's almost an ideal
Yeah.
relationship.
Yeah.
The way that you were able to relate to your mother-in-law, and it didn't go south, is because, first of all, you were nurtured well in your own life. When you're coming in from your parents, because of course I know you. So when you were coming from your mother and father, it wasn't adverse. It was, you know what to do, right? And then the other thing is, your husband was also very firm in that relationship. Some women are listening, and they're like, look, that is so good for you.
Yeah.
However, that is not the reality of my existence. And
Exactly.
like you said, there are people coming into relationship with their own wounds. We had this conversation yesterday, you and I. There are people coming into relationships with their own wounds. So
Mm.
sometimes it's not just the mother-in-law with issue. The daughter-in-law and the son-in-law also have their own issues. And when you
Mm.
bring two traumatized people together, it doesn't really it doesn't work the way we want it to work. So we have some questions for you.
Excellent.
And
Okay.
also, there is somebody else, there's this lady in the audience that also wants to share her a story, So we're going to give her time to do that too. Um, so question number one, which
Yes.
I would like for you to respond to, is this. So, um, there's every one of them. This one says that if you
Mhm.
have any other comments, people that are listening, and comments or questions that you want us to go over, please put it in the chat box. You can send it personally to me, or you can just put it to everyone so we can read it later to our guests. So number one, it says, my mother-in-law is wicked, and everybody knows it.
Mm.
My father-in-law tiptoes around her, but he loves me.
Mhm.
But the woman tries hard to make all our lives miserable. How am I supposed to love her?
Mhm.
That's the
Okay.
first question.
Uh, um, whoever asked that question, well, at least I'm happy that father-in-law is on your side. I wish that, this mother-in-law part didn't happen to you, but life happens, life happens. You cannot, you're not in control of what comes your way. It is your response to life's issues, that will make the difference. So I sympathize with you, or I empathize with you. All right. So your mother-in-law is wicked. Everybody knows it, even to Papa. There are just some difficult people in this life. I'm telling you. I was sharing with some friends, a while ago, and I was talking about good times, with my in-laws. How I used to do this. I used to, just make these special dishes, for my father-in-law each time he came from the village, and morning for breakfast, lunch, dinner, I would just set it up and exactly, what I knew that Papa would like, blah, blah, blah. And Papa so appreciated it. And you know what these girls told me? They said, no, that in their own culture, there's nothing you can do to please your in-laws. I was like, what do you mean by that? Are they not human beings? They said, no, as long as you're a daughter-in-law. I said, well, I hope you guys are not going to turn out to be like that because, the way you're talking about this, like, is the norm. I said, that better dies with that generation because you're going to give an account of how you live your life. What do you mean by there's nothing another human being will do that will satisfy you? Who are you, by the way? Okay, so for this person, he said, that mama is wicked and everybody knows it. So just keep her as wicked. I told you, connectedness is important, but there's quality, there's quantity. What we have said here is by all means, have peace with all men. Okay? The mama, I don't know your personality too, because that also, has a role to play in what we're talking about. So if you are that kind of a person that everything they say to you, means something, look, they are empty words. In fact, it may even be easier with this, your mother-in-law, that it's been established that she's a wicked person, because you're going to accept her, but you are going to avoid her. There is no better way to put it. And since everyone knows, it's not hidden, your husband too knows. If the relationship between you and your husband has been what it's supposed to be, like my mother-in-law was, well, there were times that my husband would tell me, come on now, why are you even bothering yourself? She's a troublesome person. For me, that was it. That is end of story. So this mama that is wicked, that everybody knows, what is your own? The important thing is you're not living together. Please, by all means, don't live, just try. Find your own place. If you're not living with the mama or any troublesome person, what more do you have to lose? You stay in your own place. And if a time comes when the family has to be together, you tiptoe around this woman is a very temporary thing, and you go your way. Okay, so if the problem is that she's going to be coming to your place, I think, because it may not be as simple as we have expressed it. Maybe the mama also wants to come. That's why I maintain it. I say this again. Your relationship with your husband matters a lot. Please, in your choice of husband, those who have not chosen yet, be careful. Don't allow your hormones to take over, your life. Open your eyes wide and see the kind of person that you want to marry. Sometimes check the kind of family, our parents used to do that in the olden days. They want to check, the family, they want to check the kind of people that are there, the kind of diseases they have, the kind of, relationships they have with each other before they allow you to go and marry in that kind of family. Well, okay, here you are now, you are in love. What can anybody do? And mommy wouldn't dare say anything, daddy wouldn't dare say anything. I love him, and
Yes, so.
Yeah, we all did that. We all did that.
Yep.
I'm in love. You go, with the love. Anyway, now that you are in the relationship, you need your wisdom intact. Come on, you need to grow up. You need to grow up and be a woman and stop being a girl. You're no longer a girl, you're a woman in charge of a home. Your mom is not coming to help you. Your dad is not going to help you. It is you, and like I said, you and your God. If your relationship with God is not in place, you have to establish that. Allow God to help you.
Okay.
Help you.
We,
Yeah. And be
you have
careful.
several questions, Rem. So
Okay, come. You
you
see
have
now.
we have several questions. So we have to want to try to get to those questions.
Okay.
So thank you on this one. But there's another question is, my mother-in-law controls my husband.
You see?
Okay. My mother-in-law controls my husband. She basically decides all major decisions. I feel like the second wife in the marriage.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm so, in fact, honestly, I feel, I feel your pain. I really feel your pain. Because for me, that is something I cannot even stand. I like to make my own decisions. I like to do my things the way exactly the way I want it to be. I have seen, this kind of thing that this person is asking, amongst, well, associates, people that I know. And I never liked it. We talked about this last week. Mothers, can you please just leave these children alone? Leave these children alone. It's between the man, the wife, and their God, the threefold cord that cannot easily be broken. Anything outside of those is outside. It has become outside. You are outside. You are not part of that, that union. Leave your children alone. Alone. Well, in this case, you are here. That man. Okay. So we have to extend, this conversation to helping the younger ones know what to take into marriage. No matter how loving your mother is or how loving your dad is, we have to let our children know that marriage is a different thing altogether. They need to grow up. The children have to grow up, and we have. In fact, sometimes there are even some children that like to cling. They don't like to leave daddy and mommy. It's just convenient. Or maybe daddy is a very powerful person, or mommy is a very strong woman. They are rich, and so it's difficult to detach. But please, as matured parents, let us help our children gain that independence. Let them own their new, help them, allow them to own their new status in life, because something great, something big is beginning to happen. They have to see themselves as another unit. These things are not as simple or as straightforward as we're talking about it. There are cultures where, the man and the wife, they're expected to, come on, you stay, remain, you stay with with the parents. Or sometimes they even mean well. I've seen a situation, the husband and wife, okay, they had issues, they lost their first pregnancy, and the parents felt, okay, let us help you, let us take care of you, let us help to nurture that woman, so you guys, can you move back to the home? Well, trust me, if it's me, I will not do it. I would rather that I stay in my space and you come and help me there. Whatever help you want to, But even if you couldn't help it, and that happens, it behoves on the parents to really, you know, to structure things the way they ought to be. Let us behave like the matured ones. We have run the race. But there's some people, you don't even know where they're coming from. There's some people that they didn't have better experiences, and they feel it is the norm, for you to want to dominate, your son's life or your daughter's life. There are even some cases where the men cannot let go. There are some men that cannot let go. They want to be in charge. They want to dictate what happens, in their sons or their daughters, new lives. It is wrong. Absolutely. I don't care what culture you're coming from. It is wrong. It ought not be so. It ought not be so. So if you have been engaging in that, that is why we're talking about this now. If they've been calling your son mommy's boy, daddy's boy, and it seemed all right before he got married. Now that he's married, I shared last week, my son was very close to me. He's still close to me. He's my son. He does a lot for me. But you see, I had to reorganize things in such a way that, look, everything that he was doing for me, it will now be him and the wife that are doing it for me. So that was an intentional thing. We got to be intentional about these things, because sometimes you actually do mean well, but and you're wondering what is going on. No, and now that he has a wife, I want the two of them to be so close to each other that it will naturally flow. The benefit of that will naturally flow to me as a parent. I want my daughter-in-law to love me like my son loves me. And that just makes everything easier. I do not want to discriminate and say, oh, this is my son. That is foolery. Okay? There are benefits too. My son has only been married for 1 year. My daughter-in-law has done a lot to help me, with stuff. I would rather, the woman is the builder of the home. I'm a woman too. I would rather, embrace and allow her to be free and that takes time. So.
Okay, so Ram,
Sorry, yes.
that's coming from, and that's beneficial if you have a mother-in-law or father-in-law who is saying things the way you have just said it.
Yeah.
But from a daughter-in-law's perspective, if that mother-in-law, one of the things that I would also suggest, in addition to what Ram has just said, one of the things I would suggest is have a conversation. Have a conversation. It that comes from the place of love, that person from a positive place, not a negative place. So people always want to do confrontational things. So I'm just going to talk to my mother-in-law, I'm going to talk to my father-in-law, get out of my space and all of that. Maybe this come at it at another angle, because sometimes, like Rem was saying, sometimes you're doing stuff and you don't even know that you're doing it. Maybe the two people are close anyway, and they're just carrying on with their closeness without understanding that somebody else is in the picture. So have a conversation with your husband first, and let him and share with them what you're feeling and stuff. And it might also even have and then deal with your mother-in-law in a way. There's strategies you can use. So for example, if she's trying to take over your there's a question about kitchen, the mother that takes over the kitchen. Isn't there ways that there's a way that you say, sometimes it's the way you talk to people. Mama, let me just make this food for you today. Like there's a way that you can come at things as a woman that is a little bit, that as long as it's not fighting, people might be receptive to it. So the next question we have is, and I want to ask this one because somebody in the audience has already asked something like this too. It says, I have to fight the way the person wrote is like, Ma, I have to fight fire with fire. If not, these in-laws from the village will be the end of us. My husband pays for all his siblings' education, takes care of their needs and all of the parents' needs, okay, etc., etc. The problem is, the challenge is that I have to work 4 to 5 jobs in order to be able to support the family, because my husband spends all this. So basically, he takes all his money, sends it to the village, and so she has to make up the difference. So she's she's the one that has to work to pay the children's school fees, and they have 3 kids, and upkeep of the house and all of that, because all the money is being spent on the in-law, and so she's to the point where this is literally killing her physically. So how
does she handle that?
What should she do?
I would like to thanks for that. I would like to emphasize again that foundation is very crucial. Sometimes, when the foundation for a house is not well done, there is no amount of aesthetics that you can apply to that house. It's just a matter of time. It's going to crush. It's going to crumble. Okay, and that's why for the man, He needs to know what he's getting into when he's getting married. For the woman also. And you see, for the most part, these things begin to happen, and the girls, of course, they're uncomfortable, and they begin to speak out. But nothing is new, really, because before you married that guy, you knew the dynamics of their family. You knew the dynamics of their family. You didn't meet him on the wedding day. You married the guy knowing how he used to live his life. Because he must have, I'm sure he would have shared with you, even in courtship, how he needed to send money and maybe basically send everything. And even as boyfriend, girlfriend, maybe he takes you out, you had to pay anyway because he never had money. And even for your wedding, I've seen girls, they're ready just so that they can have that title of I'm now married. They don't care. You say this, you can walk anyway, I can handle it, I can handle it. Okay, you are now in the marriage. Where's the way forward? Where do we even start from? Okay, so the guy, how do you convince him that he shouldn't help, his family? He has come to the city and he has met you. You are the enlightened one, you are the sophisticated one. It's a very complex situation. And you have to be extremely wise and be patient about it. You have to win your husband to your side such that he can listen to you. It is not a fight thing, except you're ready to lose that marriage, of course. Because what you are saying today didn't start today. That has been the culture of that family. So it's going to be difficult to break. You might put yourself in the other side. Let's imagine you are a sister to this guy, and he's been helping his sister. He's been helping his family. He's been helping his parents before he met one woman. And now the woman comes, and they become helpless. So if he has been doing all these things, even in courtship, and you were aware, you have to join him when you marry him. You have to help. You have to sit down together and map out. Maybe it will cut down on the level of help that he renders to his family. But it will be difficult for him to just cut it off because he needs his family anyway. He needs his family. Girls, open your eyes and be realistic. Because when you're desperate and you want it, you just want marriage because all your friends are married. And everything anyone says to you, your ears are blocked. Now you are confronted with the situation. I believe that this didn't just start happening. It was there even before he married you. So you got to be wise. You got to talk to the right people, and you have to love your husband. Don't fight him because it could have been your own family too. Do not fight him. You look, a woman has solutions to everything. In fact, that is my belief. God has given a woman, that thing in their brain. So if you can just calm down, seek counsel from the right places, from God first, from the right places. I don't mean your friends who are going to tell you nonsense. I don't even mean your mom, because your mom is going to be, is going to be biased. I mean from the right people, people are going to tell you the truth. You seek counsel, and then you sit down with your husband, and don't kill yourself. If truly you must work 2 jobs, to help this family, just do not kill yourself. But you need to sit down with your husband and structure how you are going to run your family. By all means, you are priority. Yeah, you are priority. You and your children are priority. That man has no choice. You are priority. Okay? But Do it
Yes,
in a wise way. Do it in a wise way. It's not. It doesn't, like Dr. Marino said. It doesn't always have to end in fight. But you got to be patient, and just know that solution will come, and work towards it. Uh, we don't have it.
excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Yeah,
Thank
thank
you.
you so much for that. There are women who, I mean, if this woman is working 3 to 4 jobs, okay, no matter what you're doing, you have to take care of yourself. Because when you
Exactly.
get on an airplane, the first thing they tell you is, uh, the first thing they tell you is what? Put the oxygen mask on
On
yourself.
yourself
Even if
first.
you have a 2-week-old baby, they tell you put on your own oxygen mask. So
Yeah.
look, you are not going to kill yourself in any marriage, in any relationship. You have to live first. So if you're
Mhm.
working 3 to 4 jobs,
Oh,
if you're
oh.
working 3 to 4 jobs, that's too much.
Yeah.
That's too much. That is just too much. And the trauma kills people. Trauma kills.
Mhm.
Sometimes it might not kill you physically, but it can kill you
Oh,
in all other areas. All
yeah.
other areas, medical problems, emotional problems,
That's it.
all kinds of problems.
Yeah.
So please, 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 the first thing is be well, be safe, be well. You yourself, do not die, because if you die, that man will marry another wife,
Abby.
okay? And they will raise your kids for you. So don't die in any situation. Make sure that you take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. Everything Rem I've been talking about today, I think it starts with you taking care of yourself, okay? Take care of yourself. That there's a lot of people come into relationship with all kinds of their own situations. And then, you bring somebody else, you're imperfect, you bring somebody else who's imperfect into the situation. You add in-laws that are imperfect into the situations, and it could be catastrophic if we don't deal with it. So please, please do whatever you can to get help for yourself. Get help, get help, get help, get help. So when we're talking about counsel, it's not, I'm not even talking, I'm talking about professional help if you can.
Mhm.
All right. Because this is somebody, for me, this is like a really big deal. If 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 you are, people just drop dead like that
Mhm.
sometimes, and you're wondering why.
Yeah.
Um, Somebody
Yeah.
said that you do us a favor and turn off your videos, please, because we're trying to just have the speaker and myself on the screen. All right. We're going to bring up, is Sheyi Olusanya there?
Yes,
Is Sheyi,
yes.
Ishayi, we're going to give you time. You can come on this. You can turn on your video. We're going to give you time to share your perspective for a minute here. So go ahead, and then we'll continue with the conversation. We'll
Okay.
continue after that. Go ahead.
So, good evening, good afternoon, good morning. I'm sure people are tuning in from different parts of the world. And thank you so much, Dr. Marino, for allowing me this opportunity. And to Mrs. Ayisire, thank you for your wisdom. I've enjoyed listening to you.
Thank you.
I came on the show last time. I think it was a couple of weeks ago or maybe a week ago.
Mhm.
And I heard part of what was said. I thought, how interesting would it be if I could just share my own little story that perhaps will bless somebody. I got married very early. I was 23, absolutely madly in love with this young man that swept me off my feet. And we started married life, and everything was fine until we began to have issues with having children. And praise God, we were rooted in a good family church. We had the support of, our pastors. We had there, godly counsel, and that saw us through the process. My husband and I were fine. We were trying different IVF treatments, six IVF treatments later, and nothing happened. And through the process, when I got into marriage, I made a decision, very similar to you, Mrs. Ayesire, that I was going to befriend my in-laws, and they were going to be my family. And praise God, we had that relationship. We didn't have any issues that were obvious to me, and everything was fine. So 10 years into marriage, still no children. 12 years, still no children. And then something happened. I fell pregnant and lost the baby at 5 months. That was a very painful and traumatic experience for me, for my husband, but I wasn't aware that it was traumatic for the rest of the family. And I have a reason for saying that, because I was so wrapped up in my own pain, that I didn't see that it could be a problem for them as well. But then things became a bit funny when, these are people that, in my mind at the time, we were very close. We were quite chummy. We were in each other's lives, very supportive of one another. But I didn't hear anything from anybody. It kind of just went quiet. And with that sort of thing, you would expect support, you would expect empathy, you would expect, so it was a very, very strange time for me. And, I tried to wrap my head around it, and it just wasn't all making sense. And I felt very betrayed, and that went on. But then it was I lost the baby in October of 2004. And it was coming up to Christmas. And I thought to myself, I can't go into the new year like this. I'm just too heavy. I can't carry this baggage into the new year. And I decided to have a time of prayer and fasting. And I got into my prayer closet, and it was just quiet. I couldn't get into prayer because I was hurt. I had unforgiveness in my heart. I had all these things I was carrying around with me that I wasn't even aware of. And I felt the Lord say to me, you can't come into my presence with unforgiveness in your heart. You need to go and first sort out all of those things. And I remember calling my sister-in-law, who I loved dearly. She was not only my sister-in-law, she was my friend. We did everything together, and I hadn't heard from her. So I called her and said, we do need to talk. I feel hurt that you haven't been in contact with me to find out how I'm doing and whatnot. And all the while, I would hear phone calls of them calling to speak to my husband. So that really did hurt. Yeah, it did. I knew it was intentional, And she said, well, this is not the kind of conversation that we can have on the phone. I will come and see you, which she did. And she came to see me and really made matters worse because I heard all manner of things on that day. Everything that I'd been shielded from, that my husband, God bless his heart, had been trying to shield me from for so many years, came out. Everything that could be said was said, and it was really bad. I remember crying my eyes out for weeks on end, just that feeling of betrayal and that feeling of, but I love her and she loves me. So why would she knows the story? She knows about everything. If anybody knows, she would know, because she's the one that I will go to talk to and whatnot. Anyway, long story cut short, that happened. I went back to God because the forgiveness didn't come easy then, because it was even worse. But that there is power in the place of prayer, because I quickly, and I know that was the Spirit of God helping me to do that, to quickly, even though in my heart I didn't feel like I should forgive, but something told me I had to. And I made a decision and I spoke the words, and I remember writing in my journal. In fact, I have 6 journals that I kept through my journey. And I remember writing in my journal, I choose to forgive even though I don't feel like forgiving. I don't feel it, but I spoke it out and I wrote it down. And I kept on praying for weeks and weeks, and kept on praying. And I would cry. And I think after a while, I was spent. I'd cried myself out of this pain. And somehow God really helped me because I guess it's the help of the Holy Spirit that allowed me to quickly open up the pain to God's healing power. So that happened. Eventually, the children came 16 years later. And I had the opportunity. I'm an events planner. I plan events, around the world. I had an event in Gambia. And I thought to myself, I'm in Gambia. How wonderful would it be for me to go to Nigeria to see my mother-in-law? And I knew the relationship had been strained at the time because of everything that had happened. But because I had exposed myself to God, I had exposed myself to healing, I had no issue. But I felt like they felt, especially my sister, because I was very close to her, she felt a bit awkward around me. And I knew I had to, as I think I saw Kemi Oyeshola say, I had to wear my big girl's pants. And I had to take that walk and go and see my mother-in-law. Even though people would have said, why would you do that? Didn't they do such and such and such and such? Didn't they say such and such about you? But something in me, there was, and again, I say, this is the work of the Holy Spirit. I don't think it was something I did to myself. And the key thing is allowing ourselves to heal, because I would have been robbed of the relationship that I have with my in-laws now if I had taken what happened too deeply and so personally that it clouds my judgment, it clouds my being able to receive them. Anyway, long story cut short, I organized a surprise visit with the 3 children and arrived at my godmother, my mother-in-law's house. And for a minute, she didn't know, she could not believe it was me. And you see, this God is real and his love is real. Because when I got into that room, we all got ecstatic. She grabbed me and held me. And I tell you, I felt a rush of love that I can't begin to define. That it didn't come from me. I know it comes from something that external from me. As I held her and we both were crying, she was so happy. She could not believe that I had brought the children to see her. And the reason why I'm sharing this experience is that because of that simple act, the relationship that we have now, there's no time my mother-in-law calls me or I call her that she doesn't say she loves me. And I know it's intentional. She intentionally says that. I'm the apple of her eyes now. There's nothing I could ever do wrong. And to me as well, there's nothing she could ever do wrong because I've accepted her as who she is. She's not perfect, neither am I. And I also, later over the years, when I've thought, I guess with experience, with wisdom, I then realized that they were in pain as well and didn't just know how to deal with the pain. And we come from an environment where, it's not just your nuclear family that is making decision, or you're not just influenced by those immediately around you. You're influenced by a lot of people. And unfortunately, you're influenced by pastors, some, wrongdoing pastors that would say horrible things that could destroy families if people didn't have wisdom.
That's right.
So this is where, you need to kind of go deep into yourself and go deep into God, because with God comes wisdom. And it was later I realized that, look, I can't imagine now a child of mine going through what my husband, and my husband, again, like your husband, is the first child of the family. So how could it be heard that this man would not have a child or heir to carry on the family name? I never thought of that. I only thought about myself, So I hope that just by sharing my story, somebody will take something away from it and be blessed. I don't want to carry on too long.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That was powerful. And we wanted our audience to hear that,
Yes.
because you brought up the spiritual component of this
Yeah.
and then and as Remy was saying, the wisdom to go and actually visit her, that closed the gap. So thank you so much for sharing that story. It's really
Thank you
powerful.
for
And
having
I'm
me.
sure somebody's receiving encouragement from that, we, apart from God, apart from, you have to be healed. You have to have a good relationship with God. You have to find somewhere to get your healing before you can also be developing a good relationship with somebody else. So powerful testimony. Thank you. Rem, what
Yeah.
do you say?
Yeah. May I say something about that?
Yeah.
Mrs. Sheyolu Sonya, honestly, I'm so glad that you came on, and I want to thank you so much, for sharing your experience.
Okay.
They say your attitude determines your altitude. There's no way, especially the way our culture is structured. It's difficult not to have a story, one thing or the other. But like I said, it's not about them. It's about you. What are you bringing into this new journey of life? What are you bringing into this marriage? Would you even know? We're just saying your husband may not even be capable, but the Bible says the woman builds the home.
Yeah.
The woman is the builder of the home. Imagine if you didn't do what you did and everything would just have messed up.
Yeah.
Look at the single act. It took you, well, you did the background work, just calling on God to come and help you. And then you made the move, you did that visit. So everybody has a story. We can go on and on today and begin to share and expand and expatiate. But you see, at the end of the day, it is how we handle stuff. When you listen to what has happened to some people in their marital homes, you'll be like, oh my God, how on earth? In one lifetime? Yes, but these things truly do happen.
Yeah.
But there's always a way. And that way starts with you, the woman. It starts with you. You got to grow up. You got to see beyond the ordinary. Make up your mind for the sake of your children, especially. For the sake of your children, you have to stand up and be the woman that God has called you to be, and do the right things. Do the right things. Put ego away. Put everything else. This is about your life and the life of your children. It means a lot. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, guys. Thank you, ladies, not guys. Thank you, ladies. We're going to allow Miss Bingpe to come up and do. She has just a few minutes of presentation for you guys, because we do offer programs for anyone who is going through any kind of trauma, or anyone who is having too many things that they're dealing with. So Bingpe, if you're ready, we're going to share that, and then we'll take a few more questions, maybe one or two more, and then we should be done. Actually, I don't know if we have time for two more questions. Bims, are you ready? You got like 2 minutes. Binky, are you ready?
Oh, sorry, I was talking. Yes, I am. Let me just share my screen. Well, we all know that it's the season of Thanksgiving. And before the year runs out, we have a particular program that is quite pertinent to this one,
Okay.
to this talk that we're talking about now. We're talking about in-laws, we're talking about families. We actually have a program that is designed to bring healing to families. Sister Shei mentioned the fact that she needed to actually heal herself. She needed to find healing before she could even talk about bringing anybody else into her space and all. So I would like to share my screen now to show you the beautiful package that we have for you. Can you all see my screen?
Not yet.
Okay, so this is where the technology sort of slows things down a bit, but it's coming up shortly. What about now?
No, no,
Hmm,
it's coming up now.
okay, all right. So we can see it all now.
Yes.
Good. All right. So we have it's a coaching session with Dr. Merino. It's called the Family Care Coaching Session. Is actually a part of our family therapy that we have going on right now. We all know that 2020 has hit us. In My younger sister posted something on Facebook and said, this year has hit with pot, pan, sick. And she now went on to say that 2020 has thrown quite a lot of things, pots, pans, different things. My sister said even with the kitchen and the bathroom sinks was thrown in as well. So we know that this year we've actually been through quite a lot. So we would like to round up the year by having a conversation on family healing. A lot of emphasis had been placed on self-care, personal care, looking at yourself and all that. But we all know that we're not islands. We exist even in families and familial connections. So this particular session is going to empower us with skills, is going to empower us with skills to heal and care for our families and familial connections, come looking towards next year. In when it comes to the things that family experiences, Sister Shei said something that even though she was the one who lost the baby, but that particular event also was a traumatic experience for members of her family, and she didn't know. She didn't know. So we that's what we realized, and we're saying that, look, in preparing now in December, everybody is writing, preparing their new year goals. This one goal, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to do, this is how, 2020 has really done, I'm going to get it all on for 2021. What about your family? So that's what this session is all about. One of the
Babes, you
benefit
have
things.
1 minute left.
1 minute left.
Babes, you have
Okay.
1 minute.
So
Yes.
by attending this session, you will identify what family triggers are all about. You will learn how to reorganize family DNA. You will learn how to use forgiveness as a tool for healing. And you will also be living with family care routines that you can begin to immediately start implementing with your family. A coaching session with us, with Dr. Merino, is regularly $200. Yes, that is it for an hour. But for this particular session, it's end of the year. We're putting it out there and we're saying, you guys come and take advantage of this at a super, super price of just $25. So the link is up. I'm going to put the link in the chat box. This offer is till December 5. After December 5, the price goes back to normal. So I want you guys to just take advantage of this. It is the best thing that can ever happen between now and December 5. So I'm waiting for you guys at the back end, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all at the family care session come December 12th. Thank you
All
so very
right. Thank you, Bims. You could do your own training on that alone. In fact, you just kept we should just give you your own time.
I can imagine.
All right, guys. Let's finish with one last question. And I know that Rem, it's been fantastic, but there's this one that I want us to just touch base on before we go, and then we'll round up,
Okay.
so that we don't keep people, because in Nigeria right now it's already 10:30. It's already 10:30. So so this final question, and then that will this it will take the it would kind of use it to summarize everything that we've talked about. Okay. What does it take for, okay, let me just ask this. So if you all day today, you kept going back to your relationship with your husband. Okay. You kept going back to your relationship with your husband, So are we saying that, we can imply that if you don't have a good relationship with your husband, it becomes difficult to triage a conflicted in-law relationship. So which means then I can infer that if you're having conflict with your in-law and your relationship with your husband is not okay, or your wife, whichever, because you can also have problems with your with the female, with the men can also have problems with their wives' in-laws. So if that is the case, what I've heard throughout today, throughout this interview, is that you need to, one of the things that you need to do, apart from God, which is always number one, the other thing you need to do is go and work on that relationship with you and your husband first, or your wife first. Is that like kind of the summary of what you've been saying today?
Yeah, that's another excellent perspective. Okay, so in this relationship thing, yeah, absolutely, between you and your spouse, is the number one after God. You have to guard that jealously, and you have to be wise about it too. In your relationships with your in-laws, like I said, by all means have peace with all men. We have the good, we have the bad, we have the complicated. There are some scenarios that when you listen to them, you don't even know how to dissect or where to start from. So, but I would not infer that if you do not have a good relationship with your spouse, then it naturally, translates to your in-laws. Sometimes you have good relationship with your in-laws, and you and your spouse, you're just not gelling. So we have such scenarios too. But as much as it's good to have that good relationship with your in-laws, I will maintain that you and your spouse, you are priority, because we have seen scenarios or situations where the in-laws are fine, they actually like you, and the guy, just does not want you anymore, or he's just not happy. So it's good to hold on to your in-laws, but it's not the ultimate, because that still may not save your marriage. It may not save your marriage if the man is adamant, or the woman is adamant, and everyone is talking to this person. If it's the wife, for instance, maybe how people are even talking to her, or the guy. We've seen situations where everyone is saying the same thing, like, no, you can't do this to this girl. Come on, your wife is this, and the man is adamant, and he says, no, I do not want her again, and that's it. So at the end of the day, it's still about you and your spouse. By all means, extend your love to the extended family, but make sure the home is in good standing. You and your spouse, you are on a good pedestal. I saw a comment here. Someone says it's not good to marry a mommy's boy. Well, the mommy's boys, they have to get married too. Something occurred to me. Yeah, they have to get married too. And you're going to fall in love with them, and you're going to marry them. Look, if your husband is a mommy's boy, let me teach you a strategy. If your husband is a mommy's boy, okay, you be mommy's girl. And that's how you can pull your husband away from the mom. How about that? Everything is mommy. Okay, we will all go towards, in mommy's direction. When we have reached mommy's direction, your husband will relax. Look, you see, for women, I'm telling you, God calls you the builder of the home. That thing, you have it too. You have it in you. And don't rob yourself by negative assumptions. If it is all about mommy, okay. In fact, while you're discussing those things in your bedroom, just say, ah, and I wonder how mommy will feel. If he hears that, it's going to make him happy. Okay? In fact, you can call mommy the following day and say, Mom, this is what we are thinking. Lekon feels we should go this direction, but I feel we should do this, and I just thought I should ask you. Come on, you two, go and love mommy. When you have loved mommy, everybody is going to relax. They won't see you. Mommy is not going to see you as a threat. And that's how you are going to, take a hold of your husband. And, you win him over little by little. And before you know it, you can both get mommy out of the way. Because now your husband, is going to transfer that trust, to you. So you have wisdom. Dig it out. Okay? And like this is Akinsoya, look up to God. Look up to God. If he's a man, look up to God. He has solutions for you every inch of the way. And the marriage journey, let me tell you, is a daily affair. Don't ever look away. And another crucial point, be careful who you're talking to. Be careful who is advising you. Be careful who you're sharing with. Okay? If people cannot handle information, there's no need. All right, thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that. Just amazing. Just a wealth of wisdom that you have shared with us today. I really thank you. So thank you for that. I don't know, most people know that I have an interracial marriage. My husband is a white man, or white, depends, Spanish and white, either way. But I remember when we just got married, and one of his concern was how they were going to accept me in the family, because he thought they might have some racial issues going on. Still with his mom, they might have some racial issues. But everything that Rem and the Shaya said today, it works. It works. I just got into that family and I just love them. I just love them, and they just love me back. And so those things happen. Like my mother-in-law would go to like African stores and go buy stuff just to give it to me, because she just wants to know. And she told me one day, she said, and they were asking me what I wanted it for. And I said, my daughter-in-law is from Nigeria, and I want to get her something. So she gets me, like, she'll go and do those kind of things. But all I'm saying is love wins things over. I know there are issues. Err on the side of love all the time, and err on the side of kindness. Err on the side of kindness. So thank you so much for spending this time with us today, Mrs. Ayisire. Thank you so much, Sheyi, for sharing your testimony. We really appreciate you guys, and all the audience. Pass this on, share the video so people can also learn. And on that, we wish you good night. Those of you on the in the UK and in Nigeria, and for those of us here, we'll have a good rest of your day. Rem,
thank you guys. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it.
And thanks to the team.
Thank you, everyone.
Thanks to the team.
Everyone. Thank you, Sister Shay. Thank you, Sister Remy.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Have a great
Thank you,
weekend.
everyone.
Bye, everyone. God bless
you. As you guys are signing off, just to clarify one of the things that Bimpe said, that coaching is not a one-on-one coaching. It is a group, yes, it's a group thing. So please, Bimpe, please make sure you share that correctly. All right.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Kemo. See you.
Bye, sisters. Love you. Bye.
Love you. All right. Oh, Remy, there's a lot of things on here for you. Fantastic. Thank you so much. You're receiving some things here on the chat.
Wonderful.
So thank you. All right. Somebody said good night. All right,
BC
excellent.
Arugumati, I see
Yeah.
BC here.
Bless
BC,
you,
thank you so much. Oh, I love
You're
you.
welcome. God bless you. Well done.
All
Great
right,
wisdom.
Shay, thank you.
See you later.
Well done, doctor.
Thank you,
All
dear.
right.
Dr. Marina.
Okay. All
Thank
right.
you.
All right. So as people are still on, you guys don't want to leave.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Some of you are still on. Oh, don't you want to hang up?
All right. Bye.
Bye. We're waiting for you guys to hang up so we can leave. Okay. Yeah, me see you're still there.
Yes, don't drive me away. I am with my people.
It's okay. It's okay.
I know how it
All right.
feels.
So Rem, thank you.
Thank you, guys.
I have to run
you.
again. I have another
Thank
client
you so
coming.
much. Yeah,
Yeah, it was good. It was really good.
Thank you.
Love you.
Thank you. Yeah, love
Yemi
you, dear.
and Bingpe, see you